Alex here with a legal nuts and bolts video on offsets and setoffs. And these terms are synonymous, means the same thing. An offset is a type of payment. You're basically paying somebody by taking a portion of what they owe you out of their debt. So this really came to my attention in the context of a child custody issue, and it did come up in my own case. And I have to say, only a high conflict ex would do something this inane. But basically, the context that it got brought to my attention was they basically said, Alex, I have to pay my ex for half of some kind of reimbursement for some kind of medical care, but they currently owe me $3,000. Let's just use that number. Do I have to pay them $200 when they owe me $3,000? And it's just nuts to think that somebody would actually have the gall to send you an email demanding their $200 payment when they owe you $2 or $3,000. But then I stopped and I thought to myself, my ex did that to me like 50 times. It's weird. Anyway, the way you solve it is with an offset or a set-off. You just need to make it clear, send an email, something in writing, send it to their attorney if they have an attorney, stating that you are applying, let's use this example, that you are applying the $300 you owe them for medical reimbursement. You're applying that as an offset to the $2,000 or $3,000 they owe you for whatever it is they owe you for. That is a form of payment. That counts as having paid them. It's the same as sending them a check. It's the same as sending them cash. You have paid by taking it out of what they owe you. There is no reason why a judge would think otherwise. For a judge to decide that you need to pay your ex $200 when your ex owes you $3,000, I don't even know what the Supreme Court would say about a judge doing that. The only real caution I can make here is be sure that you can actually substantiate that you are owed that money. Be very careful just inventing that out of thin air, because that could come back to bite you. You could find yourself held in contempt or chastised by the court in some way. The context that it came up in my case was that I had a judgment. So I had a court judgment that money was owed to me. So there was no way my ex was going to get out of that. The context that this particular person who brought it to my attention, I believe they had a medical obligation or some other reimbursement that they were entitled to. So again, that's consistent with the court's order. So they were probably fine. But I would be cautious about like creating debts out of thin air and trying to use this, because it's not going to work. Like, for example, say you had to drive really far to drop the kids off because of some weird situation. I would be hesitant to say, well, you owe me this much money in gas and I'm taking that out of what I owe you, and that's taking it too far. Somehow the debt needs to be acknowledged by the court, either in an order or in a judgment, a money judgment, one of the two, before you try and do anything like this. Again, I just want to repeat that this happened in my case a bunch of times, and every time my ex would ask for money, I would just remind her, you owe this. There's a judgment right here for this many thousands of dollars, so I'm paying you out of that. And she'd get mad and say that I was in contempt of court. And I don't know where the mind goes when it comes up with these assertions, but that having happened to me makes me really realize I should probably do a video on this and explain this to people. If you need to use this in court, you just explain to the judge that you paid them by set-off to the debt that they owed you. And the court will do the math and figure out the accounting, and you should be fine. My ex's attorneys never actually tried to bring any of those issues to court. They seem to really understand that that's not going to go anywhere with the judge, and that's weird. It was just something that I had to kind of put up with in the emails that came from my ex every now and then. So I believe I'm going to go ahead and end this video. If anyone else has had any wacky wonky issues with an ex trying to get them to pay them money, even though they owe you a bunch of money, please post it in the comments below, because I think more people need to see that that happens, so that they don't feel afraid. Because I bet you there are people out there who just got scared and paid the money to their ex and never got paid back for the thousands of dollars they were owed. And I don't know. I mean, some things just go so far beyond saying that. I just don't know how to really cover them with a straight face. And I was struggling with this one, but I've gone through that. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time.